And Robert Kraft is absolutely right, Perloff. He's talking about the AFC East. He's calling it the best division in the NFL. He's 100% right, and I don't see really how anyone can disagree. I'm watching Aaron Rodgers at Jets OTAs. They just added a 4-time MVP to the division, and I could go on from there. But when I'm starting with Rodgers, that ends the debate. It's over.
Aaron Rodgers?
Yes, Aaron Rodgers.
And the Jets?
Yes.
The New York Jets?
Yes.
That makes them...
Not other Jets.
So they don't have the best team. They don't have the most balanced 1-4. What are you and Robert Kraft smoking here? There's no way they have the best division. AFC North and AFC West are right there. If AFC North is a little bit better, AFC West is at least equal.
I'm not buying the AFC West again. I did that last year. I said every team was going to be amazing, and this was going to break records for how awesome this division was. And what happened? I got, a terrible Russell Wilson season. I got Nathaniel Hackett trying 64-yard field goals in Seattle. Outright disaster. Stu's Raiders, complete embarrassment. Yeah. I'm not buying into the AFC West again.
But don't you see you're doing the same thing to the AFC East that you did to the AFC West? You're getting fooled by March acquisitions and thinking that translates in September, and it never does. The AFC East is all hype.
Okay, let's get to the bottom of why you think this. What's really underneath? Peel back the layers here. No more messing around. You just don't think Rodgers is going to pan out. You don't think he's going to be that good. I think that's where this is coming from.
No, the Jets are going to be fine. I think they'll be really good. The Jets are going to be good, but top to bottom, I think the Patriots are really bad. I mean, they'll probably be 6 wins. I think the Bills are taking a step back. And I think the Dolphins are depending on Tua's health. So that's nowhere near. You could go... All those other 2 divisions arguably go 3 strong deep. Who do you trust besides the Jets of the Bills here? And I think the Bills are due to take a step back too. And I think a lot of people think that, Maggie. Sorry, I know you're really close to the project.
Yeah, no, a little bit. But why do you think so? Why are the Bills taking a step back here? Because they're not as hyped as they were a year ago when none of that hype really worked in their favor, to be quite honest?
I mean, let's be totally honest here. Yeah. I think that everyone hyped them up and picked them for Super Bowl, and we're all feeling burned by it.
Well, that's your problem. That's not the Bills' problem.
I just think that they have not shown a lot of momentum as a franchise. Like, they're not figuring it out on the level that the Chiefs are. I know they almost beat them. Ever since 13 seconds, they just don't seem to be headed in that direction. I guess I should have more specifics on that. But
they won more games last year than they did the season that they lost to the Chiefs with the 13 seconds game.
But everything felt like a struggle last year. I know there's a lot of outside stuff, but still, it's second half of a game. I'm thinking the Vikings game, for example. They just can't hold on to a lead, and they just rely on Josh Allen's legs so much. It's all Josh Allen all the time. That formula seems like it'll just wear out. They need to be a full-on team. So then you just have so much risk up and down that 1 through 4. I'm not even sure why Robert Kraft said this. Isn't that something that you let outsiders say about your own division?
Well, let's hear from Robert Kraft. Patriots owner was speaking yesterday to, who was he talking to? Reporters? Just training camp stuff? Okay, cool. Here is Robert Kraft on the AFCs.
I think we have the most difficult division in the NFL, the best balance of teams from all the other 3 teams are good. So we'll have our challenges, but I'm really hopeful about this team.
Yeah, well, don't worry. The Patriots will just cheat their way into 9 wins. It doesn't come down to hope with the Patriots. I mean, they're just basically bugging the locker room and, spying on everybody. There's no luck involved. But first of all, it sounds like excuses from him, but that's whatever. I think that he's actually right about this.
Right.
And whatever the Patriots may lack in, talent upgrades, like they did add Juju Smith-Schuster. We know DeAndre Hopkins is going to be visiting New England next week. But they have upgraded in terms of coaching. They actually have an offensive coordinator now, Bill O'Brien. And I just can't imagine that Bill Belichick would make the same idiotic decisions last year in terms of coaching decisions. He's not going to do that twice in a row. He's too smart. We have to give him more credit than that.
God, I don't see. I just see problems at quarterback and lack of explosiveness. How are you going to answer for that? I mean, they just, like you said, adding DeAndre Hopkins and Juju Smith-Schuster. I'm sorry, you sound slow.
No, I'm sounding like Mac Jones is going to take a step further with an actual offensive coordinator.
Okay, yeah.
Last year was a disaster.
Yeah, I just feel like Mac Jones. I mean, what's 2 years ago when he made the Pro Bowl mysteriously, he only threw 22 touchdowns. It just feels like a very unexplosive offense. And also, too, I don't think top to bottom, really, I understand the AFC North has a much bigger win total in Vegas. Like that's top to bottom, way better. Whereas I feel like you have multiple soft spots in this division.
Okay, I'd go through the AFC North teams, and I think you can poke more holes in what they're doing in terms of strengths than you can in the AFC East. Bengals, I think, above reproach. We know the Bengals are phenomenal.
Let's do it one by one.
Okay, Bengals, I think, above reproach. Right?
How do you compare them with Bills?
Better than the Bills.
So they have at the one spot, the AFC North has the advantage.
I think you have to say that because of how they demolished Buffalo in the playoff game. Okay, so do that. Baltimore, okay. You just paid Lamar Jackson a ton of money. Good, you don't have that headache anymore. Why do we think that after 2 seasons where he finished the year hurt and could not finish 2 seasons, quite frankly, and miss at least 5 games in the last 2 seasons, now all of a sudden miraculously he's going to be healthy? I love the fact that they're going to throw the ball more, but I don't think that doesn't mean Lamar has solved all of these injury issues. So that'd be 2. Number 3.
So wait, you're going to give the edge to the Jets over the Ravens?
I would definitely.
Okay.
And then Pittsburgh Steelers, listen, steady Eddie, like, you know, this is an unflappable franchise. You're telling me Kenny Pickett's going to be the guy this year? I'd like to see a little bit more evidence of that. And you're going to count on probably one big injury on the defense, maybe not TJ Watt, something like that. Maybe they're above 500, but I don't think they're a playoff team. So I would put Miami over Pittsburgh, that way.
Right. Cleveland's probably the 3 team there, but yeah.
Or Cleveland, whatever. Yeah. And Cleveland, okay, I got to see it with Watson. Deshaun Watson getting paid super money. I know that Cleveland has added meaningfully to their roster, but let me see it first before I all of a sudden crown Cleveland.
Yeah, I would give Cincinnati just a slight edge over Buffalo. I would give the Ravens a slight edge over the Jets. And the reason being, is it's not because of Rodgers. The Jets are a young team. The Ravens go to the playoffs every year, don't they? I mean, Lamar, even if he gets hurt, they still find a way to win a bunch of games. Like, don't you feel much more confident that the Ravens are going to at least sneak in with 10 wins? They always do. And then 3, Cleveland's a sleeping giant. They're just loaded with all pros. So I got to give them the edge over Miami, who's similar. They're very close. And then 4th, Pittsburgh over New England, just because Pittsburgh's steady Eddie. They'll give you 9 wins even. Somebody's going to fall apart in that AFC East. You just know it. They're like last year's AFC West. Don't you feel like someone's going to fall off? You really think all 4 teams are going to have 9 wins or more?